In Hytale, we talk a lot about the exploration and modding capabilities, and not really a lot about the type of armor and gear that we're actually going to be able to get in the game while we're exploring through our playthroughs of Orbis. Today, I want to touch up on every single type of armor set and material that we're going to be able to find and discover and even get our hands on once we play Hytale in about a week. My name is Chris, welcome back to the CanadianFlash channel, and enjoy the video. If you're new here and you enjoy Hytale content just as much as I do, please, for me, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that like button. I'm trying to reach 10,000 subscribers before the game releases. I'm so close to getting there. It'd be greatly appreciated if you can hit that button. Also, don't forget to use code FLASH in the Hytale shop. It gives me a little kickback and it supports the channel like you wouldn't even believe. And on the last thing, myself, and Mr. Big Dude are creating a Hytale server. I'll leave a link to the trailer video that mine posted on his channel in the description and in the comment section. Go check it out. If you want to help out with the server, link to the Discord for it is in the description down below. With that being said, guys, enjoy the video. In Hytale at the moment, we currently know of 8 different types of materials that you can use to make swords, axes, shovels, pickaxes, and basically any type of armor or weapons that you could use in the game. And these categories are wood, stone, copper, iron, thorium, cobalt, Adamantite, and Mithril. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to X on Discord. He was from Mine's Discord. He actually made this nice little graphic of all of the pickaxes that we saw in the Hytale ore progression chart. He made a nice little AI upscaled graphic of it, so that's what you're seeing on screen right now. And I actually wanted to talk to you a little bit about it because it looks pretty cool. He told me he actually got the images from this actual picture that Simon showed us in one of the gameplay clips, and he literally just kind of picked out the small boxes from them and made his own little graphic, which is really nice. It looks super cool. Very happy for that. And you can actually see instead of pickaxes, there also are like battle axes or hatchets, and a little bit of quite a few shovels as well. They're not all listed in here for some reason. I don't really know why, but you can tell from the pickaxes and the battle axes that there are like 8 tiers of equipment in Hytale, which is pretty cool. And on top of that, you can even see that there are going to be armor sets that we have seen in the game for these specific gears as well, and I'll talk about those a little bit later on as well. So first, let's talk about the wood set because it's going to be the most basic that you have. You have a pickaxe, looks like there's going to be wooden swords, wooden shovels, probably a wooden hoe, and there's going to be the wooden armor, which we've seen in actually some screenshots. They look pretty cool. I'm sure you're just going to be able to cut a tree down or, I don't know, make like a stone hatchet maybe somehow find a little bit of wood scraps on the ground, make an axe, make a pickaxe, make a sword, and that's basically going to be the worst armor and gear that you're going to be able to get in the game. Maybe besides the different type of gears that maybe specific mobs could drop, but we just don't know anything about that so far yet. But either way, I think it looks all right. I mean, it definitely looks better than just like straight leather armor in Minecraft, in my opinion. But like I said, it is going to be the worst set in the game, so don't really expect too much from the wood armor. There is one set of materials that we haven't seen in a long time, and this is the like gold set. We actually seen it in some screenshots where the player is having like a golden spear and some other screenshots as well. It doesn't look like it's in this pickaxe list, so maybe the specific gold stuff has to do with maybe like more combat items instead of like, I don't know, pickaxes, because like we know in Minecraft, gold stuff is completely useless. Like, yeah, it's fast, but then it breaks in like 3 hits. So I wonder maybe if there are no specific like gold swords or maybe gold pickaxes and gold shovels, maybe they're just like specific spears that maybe some mobs will drop and all that, but we just don't know yet. We can even see in some older screenshots, one, I want to clarify that we don't know these are still relevant anymore, but 2, there actually are quite a few different types of swords that fall under this category of like gold. So there is a regular gold sword which has like a little black bar kind of down the middle, and then kind of to the bottom of that there's like another cool goldish looking sword. It's got a little bit of green elements in it as well. I'd assume that's some sort of special sword, but it's also in the crafting bench as well, so like I guess you can craft it somehow. And then even in this player's inventory, there is golden armor, which looks pretty cool. There's also like special things like this epic looking fire sword that's also there as well, but not sure if these are still in the game. There's different types of stone swords as well, and stone is going to be the next topic that I'm going to talk about. There is obviously no stone armor in the game, and there's really no equivalent to what stone armor would be. That's why I kind of threw gold in there in the mix a little bit earlier on as well. So maybe like gold is the equivalent of like the same status as stone armor. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure stone's going to have a way higher durability than gold, but maybe gold does more damage, stone has more durability, kind of like that whole Minecraft sense to it. But I think stone is probably going to be like the second worst type of gear you can get in the game. But honestly, it's probably not that bad. Like, the swords look like they do a decent amount of damage from what we've seen in like old concept arts and old screenshots, and it looks pretty cool. And the last of the, like, for example, I'm going to call low tier gear is going to be copper. Copper is quite a rare metal in real life. I mean, if you ask me, I'm a refrigeration technician, so I use copper all the time, and it is very pricey, I'm not gonna lie. That's just how copper is. But the copper set in Hytale honestly doesn't look the best. Honestly, I think it's better than the gold, stone, and wood, obviously, but it's probably not the strongest. I'm sure it's going to have quite low durability because copper is very soft. You can bend copper quite easily, at least if you heat it up for sure. You could definitely belt it, and it definitely has a quite low melting point as well. That's pretty cool. It's definitely not going to be the armor you're probably going to want to take into Zone 4, but either way, it's probably going to be a pretty early on armor set in the game. Probably going to be what you use maybe to fight some Chork camps, maybe save some Quebecs from some Chorks, maybe fight some Scarix, but other than that, it doesn't look that cool. I do like the rustic steampunk theme of the copper armor. I think it looks really nice with like the ropes kind of around it that actually hold your armor together, and even like the big nails that are holding your sword and copper pickaxes together as well. I think they look really cool, but like I said, it's a pretty poop armor, I'm not gonna lie, but either way, it still looks pretty cool. Alright, now we're getting into more of the middle tier armor sets and weapon sets and all that, and type of gear and loot that you'll find in Hytale. And this next one is going to be iron. Iron, I believe Simon said that iron is really not that much different than like the top tier levels of armor in the game. I know they're going to balance it in the future, but the iron armor and the iron set looks really cool. Definitely, to think of Minecraft, it's like your most middle base set in the game. You could probably do a lot with it, but also you probably can't do everything with it, put it that way. And honestly, the set looks pretty clean. The sword looks really nice. It's very basic, I'm not gonna lie. It's probably the most basic set you're gonna look at. It looks very clean, looks very basic, but I think it looks really nice. And I love the way that the armor set looks. It has a cool like buckle on it where the belt's supposed to be, and I love the way that the gloves work. I like the boots. I like the pants or ankle bracers or whatever on there. Even the shoulder pads on the chest plate give you more protection than what the copper armor looks like it will, and even the wood armor as well. I think it's a pretty nice armor set. You're probably going to be able to use it quite a lot in Hytale, and it's probably going to be pretty easy to find as well, so I guarantee you probably day one, most people in Hytale are probably going to be rocking full either copper or full iron armor, and maybe even throw a little bit of thorium in there as well. The next set I want to talk about is probably the highest middle tier set you're going to get into the game until we actually start talking about the final tier or the late game sets and armor sets and equipment sets and ores in Hytale. I really like the Thorium set. I think it looks really pretty, and honestly, I think just because it's green is why it really stands out. Honestly, probably Connor's favorite set of armor. He's just a big green guy, you know, it's how it's got to be. But the Thorium set, in my opinion, is gorgeous, and I love the way the Thorium shield looks. I love the way the helmet, the chest piece, the boots, the gloves, everything about the Thorium set, the way that the silver of like the iron in it mixed with the green of the Thorium, it just looks perfect. I'm not gonna lie. Probably my favorite set in Hytale. That's a lie. There's other sets, honestly, but it is probably gonna be maybe the strongest early game set of armor you'll be able to find in Hytale, if not iron. It seems, I don't know really how you're going to find thorium. I'm sure it's just going to be like a green ore that you're going to be able to mine in the caves and all that. And I think we actually seen some green ores in the trailer. So honestly, that's probably thorium, but we're going to have to see. And like I said, in the trailer, we actually got to see quite a few green ores when the guy's in his minecart and he's going past them. To me, they look like thorium. Also, beside there's also like the actual green crystals. That's not thorium. It's really just the actual ore sticking out of the earth is what I believe is going to be thorium. And it looks like they spawn in quite decent patches. Maybe think similar to like diamonds in Minecraft, maybe, if we want to put a perspective on that. I don't think they're going to be as rare as emeralds in Minecraft, but I don't think they're going to be, maybe they'll be about the same spawn rate as diamonds in Minecraft. Maybe that'll be your diamond equivalent in Hytale. But either way, we saw in the Simon versus Zoom versus Propsy video, thorium is nowhere near as good as the Adamantite and Mithril gear, but it can still definitely hold its own if it's in the hands of the right person. Cobalt seems to be the gear that we've actually seen the least about, which is kind of funny considering it's been in the game probably longer than Adamantite Adamantite and Mithril, and that's only because of the, like, that 6-minute gameplay video that Simon, Zoom, and Propsy put out, and that's because Simon in that video was wearing Mithril armor, and Zoom was wearing Adamantite, and Propsy was wearing Thorium. I'm a little surprised Propsy wasn't wearing the Cobalt gear, because I think it would have been really cool to see what the Cobalt gear can do compared to the Adamantite and Mithril, but I think Cobalt, Adamantite, and Mithril are going to be your late game gears in Hytale. If not, maybe Cobalt and Thorium are going to be similar, and then Adamantite and Mithril will be similar, but we're going to just have to see. There is a video of Propsy from back in the day in the Zone 3 equipment demo where he actually has a Cobalt sword and a Cobalt shield, and in this 16-minute gameplay clip, Simon does end up using like a Cobalt battle axe, and what I really like about the Cobalt gear is that it kind of has like this like wool slash featherish slash theme to it, which I think is really nice, and it gives it a really cool like aesthetic to it, and I believe on the helmet it actually has a little bit of like feathers or something sticking up. So I wonder if Cobalt is something you're actually only going to be able to find in Zone 3, and we actually saw it in the Hytale trailer as well, which is pretty cool. We actually saw it just when the guy's going down in the minecart, which I think is pretty cool. You barely see it. It looks like it's in Zone 3. There's some Zone 3 crystals, maybe a little bit of iron or copper, and then kind of just in like a single frame, there is a small patch of Cobalt as well. And this is also, like I said, took place in Zone 3. I think Cobalt's going to be a pretty cool and pretty rare armor set you're going to be able to find in the game, and honestly probably has one of the best aesthetics to it. I love the dark deep blue with the silver. I think it just bounces off itself really nicely, and I can't wait to use it. The second to last set I wanted to talk about in today's video is the Adamantite, and this is the most recent armor set that we've really seen in Hytale, though it has been in the game for a while. It's not like a new armor set that they made. We just haven't really got a name for it until like very recently, until like last Sunday. And this is the Adamantite armor. I think this is going to be, if not the strongest, if not the second strongest gear and armor set in Hytale, and it is this nice dark red, or if you want to call it orange, like a deep orange armor set, and I think it looks so nice. Probably my favorite armor set in the game, and if you look at the bow, it has this sort of steampunk theme to it. That's why. The way the bow pulls back in this armor set is absolutely gorgeous. You can see the cogs and the double pulls of the bow. It looks fantastic, and honestly, like I said, probably my favorite armor set in Hytale. We don't know how you get Adamantite in any way at all. I'm sure it's some sort of like Zone 4 ore, considering Cobalt looks like it's Zone 3 ore, so I'm sure it's somewhere in Zone 4. You're just going to have to find it, and honestly, all the weapons in Adamantite look so cool as well. They're absolutely stunning, I have to say. If you take a look at the player, I'm just playing the Simon video right now. The sword has a beautiful curve to it. The shield has this like kind of diamond in the top, like middle of it. It looks beautiful. The battle axes look fantastic. I already mentioned the bow, and even the daggers, they got this little diamond at the bottom. It glows when you have a special move. It looks so cool. Adamantite, probably my favorite armor set in the game, but there is one more and that I think is going to be stronger in Hytale. And the set that I think is going to be the top tier, the upper echelon in terms of gear in Hytale is going to be Mithril. Mithril looks like it is very strong. I think it's very comparable to Adamantite, and we've actually seen the Adamantite bow does more damage than the Mithril bow, but I think just in terms of gear, I think it is probably going to be the best. It just looks, if you go by looks, it looks like the best. I could be very wrong. Maybe they're basically the exact same, but look how nice the armor set looks. It looks like a full chainmail Orbis officer type look, but more like higher up in terms of the Orbis officer army. I think it looks fantastic. I love the chainmail. I mean, it's literally got the nice light gray with the gold trim on it. Anything that has a gold trim on it clearly has to be very strong. And Mithril, to me, it just looks like an absolute, like, it looks like a royal set, if I have to put it into terms. Even when you take a look at the shield, it looks very crownish and very royal. The sword looks very royal. The daggers have gold accents to it. Even that big battle axe, not the little spinny axe, but the regular battle axe, they all have this special type of gear to it. And even if you take a look at the background of all of the Mithril gear, it is purple. If you don't know, the purple backgrounds in Hytale mean that the item is of the epic variety or epic rarity. And this is actually the only set in the game that has that. We have that the Adamantite set is the rare type of rarity, and we also have like uncommon and common type rarities, but the Adamantite and Mithril are the only ones that have this own special rarity to it as well, besides items like the Fire Sword and like the legendary Demon Soul Reaper, which we don't even know how to get. Maybe, for example, you can't even mine Adamantite and Mithril. You actually have to get this sort of set or armor or weapons maybe in some sort of specific loot boxes or dungeons, which I think could be pretty cool as well. Maybe Cobalt is the highest tier of armor and weapons and, I don't know, pickaxes that you can actually get once mining in Hytale, and the other two, the Adamantite and Mithril, is the only sets that you can get via dungeons, which I think would be really cool in Hytale. Let me know in the comments section what you guys believe is going to be the strongest type of gear in Hytale. Will it be Mithril? Would it be Adamantite? I think I'm on to something with the different rarities of the specific gear. Maybe there are tiers that are better than the Mithril Adamantite. Maybe that Fire Sword is now a legendary weapon. Maybe now you can get that Demon Soul Reaper and it's better than absolutely anything I mentioned today. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I'm going to try to make as many videos as possible before Hytale comes out. I'm trying my best to reach 10,000 subscribers. So please hit that subscribe button. That being said, check out everything I mentioned earlier in the video, the Discord for the new server if you want to help out. Make sure you join that server. With that being said, see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.